What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for any new video ideas you might have or whatever. But today, as you can already tell by the title, I will be covering an extremely sensitive topic for anime fans, especially power scaling. And I will be using a specific power scaling debate that I've heard about recently that's been making waves, which is Gojo Satoru versus Goku. First, I'll start off with describing power scaling. Power scaling, which is the idea of comparing the character's strength to that of other characters, often done in anime and manga communities. But power scaling isn't always constant because of a number of things. First, there are changes in how the stories are told in each series. Each anime or manga series has its own rules, powers, and limits that apply to its world. This makes it harder to compare characters from different series in a fair way. For example, the way power works in the JDK universe, where Satoru Gojo is very different from the way it works in the Dragon Ball series, where Goku lives. Take the case of, once again, like I said, this is the major debate. I'll be using Gojo and Goku. Gojo's power, called the Limitless Curse Technique, comes from his ability to change space at an atomic level. This gives him different abilities, such as putting an infinite distance between himself and his opponent, making it impossible for most strikes to reach him. Goku's power, on the other hand, is more straightforward. It usually comes from his physical strength, speed, martial arts skills, and his ability to gather and control ki, like with his signature Kamehameha. Trying to compare these two characters' powers is like trying to compare apples and oranges because their powers and the rules of their worlds are so very different. Second, power scaling isn't always the same because the stories being told are from different points of view. Different writers and artists have different ideas about what their characters should be like and what they should do. In Dragon Ball, for example, Goku's enemies are always getting stronger, so his skills are almost always getting better consistently with his enemies. Gojo, on the other hand, was phenomenally met him when he was shown as the most powerful Jujutsu Kaisen character at the time. Power levels can change based on what the story needs, and since these stories are made by different people with different plots, it's impossible to compare them in a fair way. Let me go in depth into that when I talk about Gojo Satoru. In the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, Satoru Gojo and Sukuna are two of the most dangerous people. Gojo is at the top of his universe because of his limitless curse technique and his 6 eyes, and Sukuna is at the top of his universe because of the king of curses and because of his power and skill. But in an imagined fight between both of them, a linear scale of power wouldn't tell you for sure what would happen. In these cases, this is what I like to call power of the pen, because Gege Akutami, the author of Jujutsu Kaisen, has the freedom to choose the outcome based on the needs of the story, the growth of the characters, and the overall theme. For example, Akutami can set up a situation in which Gojo can't use all of his power because of certain rules or limits. Now this would give Sukuna an edge, in the same way Sukuna could be put in this position where he can't use all of his skills, giving Gojo the edge. The author could also add things like tactics, the setting, sneak attacks, or emotional states that could change how the fight goes. As you can see, what I'm trying to say is Gojo and Sukuna are so close in terms of power and strength. It all comes down to how Gege Akutami wants them to match up against each other. I'm trying to do all this in one take, y'all. First, power scaling can give you a general idea of how strong and skilled a character is compared to others, but it's not the only thing that matters in a fight. In the end, the plot, the characters, arcs, and the message of the story have a lot to do with how these things turn out. In this way, Akutami or any other author with the power of the pen has the final say over who wins a fight. This shows that story and theme can be more important than traditional power scaling. Now, I've heard many debates that include characters such as Akuto Sai from Demon King Daimyo. Now, if you try to compare Akuto Sai from Demon King Daimyo to Goku or Gojo, you are absolutely out of your mind. You are insane. You are crazy. You need mental help. You need to go to a therapist. I don't know what to tell you, bruh. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. You need help, for real. Akuto Sai is a limitless, all-powerful being. Imagine trying to compare somebody who can destroy universes to somebody who could probably maybe destroy a city, which is Gojo. Now, in the case of Goku, Akuto Sai still beats him. just based off the fact that the man can destroy universes. Are you kidding me? The man is limitless. His powers go to a point where he becomes a godlike being with the ability to change reality, control time, and stay alive forever. He can be measured in anything that we know of. This amount of power is what we call unlimited. This is what we call true limitless. On the other hand, you can have Gojo and Goku who are very strong in their own respective universes, don't get me wrong, but their powers are not shown to be unlimited. Even though Gojo has a lot of curse energy and can use a limited curse technique and his 6 eyes, he still uses the power method set up in JJK, which doesn't scale characters to anything higher than planetary. In fact, if you want to say Sukuna can destroy the country of Japan, okay, let's say that. But can he go higher than that? I doubt it. In the same way, even when Gojo is in his most powerful form, he still has a limit to how strong he can be. We see this. I mean, he usually ends up getting past this gets past his limit through training, willpower, and drive. But even in the recent manga chapters, manga spoilers, he fights not even fights. He gets whacked by Black Freezer. Like, imagine, compare a character with no limits like Akusasai to someone with limits like Gojo or Goku. It's actually insane. The power scaling system becomes less useful and more vague because Akuto's powers are all powerful. They don't follow the usual method for increasing power. It also leads to arguments about whether or not such comparisons are even relevant or even fair given how different the rules of power and story are in each series. The differences in powers are scaled. The differences in how powers are scaled show how each artist gives their characters and stories their own story and theme. Power scaling is just not worth it. It's not. It doesn't make sense. Series have completely different power structures, story context, and themes. Gojo versus Sukuna. It comes down to Gege. Akusasai, the man's limitless. And Gojo and Goku is in between because he can end up getting strong, but I don't think his power will ever reach to the point of being able to change reality or go back in time or go forward in time. I doubt it. That's ever gonna be possible. But anyway, power scaling can give you a general idea of what a character could do, and it's more useful in the same universe than it is outside of the universe. But it's not a perfect way to predict how battles would go or a fair way to compare characters from different stories and animes. Narrative context, authorial purpose, thematic elements, and the rules of each series world will always have a bigger impact on how characters act and how their conflicts turn out. That's just my little short take on power systems. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It's your boy Darlington. Peace.